Good morning. It is Legacy Talks, and I'm so excited to share, well, one of the most fascinating entrepreneurial stories when it comes to skincare. She's a veteran in the beauty industry for over 15 years, working for some of the most iconic brands. But what happens when it comes to legacy? Women, when they finally know what they want, their careers change. It's this pivotal moment where you take the journey and you make the leap. Amy, I'm so excited to have you. You're the founder of Tower 28. So iconic. I mean, everything from the color to the products in Sephora. It's a globally recognized brand, and we're so happy to have you in Dubai.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
I love your story because you're a veteran in the beauty and skincare space, so you know it like the back of your hand. What was that pivotal moment where you kind of starting getting that itch for the entrepreneurial spirit?
I mean, to be honest with you, I think I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always told myself that one day I was going to be a founder myself, and I kept getting jobs. Like, if you look at my career trajectory, I went from bigger company to smaller company, and every time my job kept getting bigger. And so the idea was like, I'm just gonna get closer to having like a seat at the table, being closer to the founder, really understanding what it was going to be like. And then at some point, I'm gonna take a leap. And then I didn't. All of a sudden, I turned 40 years old. I had 3 kids. They were all in private school. Life in LA was really expensive. And I had kind of given up on my dreams. And the true story is that a friend of mine was like, either you're going to do this or you're not. And if you don't do it now, you'll never do it. And that was really the impetus that made me start. And so I started at 40.
I love that because that is kind of this pivotal moment. I talk about 40 being that magic year.
Yeah.
For 40, I had this moment where I was asked to speak at Parliament in the UK.
Oh my God.
Which was really exciting. And I don't know if you know the rules for Parliament in the UK, but it's very formal. You have exactly 5 minutes to speak for the topic they give you, and then they literally cut the mic.
Oh, wow.
So in 5 minutes, I had to talk about my entire career. And it was actually a point of reflection. It was such an iconic time. It was a milestone moment. I just felt that 40 was this, I don't know, for me, and when I start looking around at my friends, it was this kind of magic number for women. But I want to go back to your story. You said the word expensive. I mean, expensive is kids, home, life.
Life.
Starting a business is expensive. What was the first steps of really kind of taking that pen to paper and start envisioning what this brand would be?
So that same friend who really encouraged me to get started, and he basically said, like, if you don't do it now, you won't do it ever. I basically turned it back on him, and I was like, well, that's easy for you to say because I don't know, I don't have time, I don't have money, and I don't have a partner. And he was like, well, what if I invested? And so he was my first money in, which was really helpful, and that kind of kickstarted the whole thing, honestly. So I was able to raise money from friends and family, which I'm eternally grateful for. But I think the other thing that's really important is I got on the same page with my husband. So at the time, my husband, he made good money, but it wasn't enough for us to be able to, like, we couldn't live off of his salary and also be able to send the kids to college and also be able to vacation and be able to go send our kids to school and do the mortgage and everything else. And so he really felt like, we can't be in a situation where this is forever. We have to put some boundaries on it. And I think that was really helpful for our relationship. So out the gate, he was like, we can't invest more than, I think it was $150,000, and you can't not make money for more than 5 years. This can't be like a bottomless pit that we keep feeding into and not get anything back. So I think it was really helpful that we set up those boundaries early on.
I mean, for me, that's probably one of the best lessons right from the start of this interview is really communication with your partner, because I think it's something that you don't talk about. We always talk about this entrepreneurial journey of being in the office and being this leader, but when you come home, it kind of never stops.
Well, I think for women, we really do. We have the second shift, right? Like, so whether you are an entrepreneur or just an employee, you go to work, you work your regular job, and then you come home and you do all the things. You make dinner, you put the kids to bed, you wash them, you read to them, you do all of these things that are like, I mean, the ongoing fight that I've always had with my husband, he's like, I help so much. And I'm like, I know, because it's my job. And you help me with these domestic things, like the house and the kids and all these things. And I think that that's part of the way society is. But at the same time, I think like I'm really lucky that I have a husband who is, I think, very forward thinking and very like he's so supportive, but at the same time, even him, we still had to set up some like boundaries around it.
Well, I think it's important. That's the reality, right? It's like open communication and evolving communication as well as a relationship.
You have to talk about it, right? I mean, even for me, it was really hard for me to pay for things like a nanny and a babysitter and help around the house when I wasn't making money.
Yeah.
Because I sort of felt like what gives me the right if I'm not actually.
But that's a really good point, because I always talk about time versus money and what I'm good at. And my kind of rules of thumb when it comes to leadership is like really doing a SWOT analysis on yourself. Like, what are you good at? And if you're not good at it, outsource it, because it's not worth.
Or
like,
if you don't enjoy, I always think about like that crosshair between what you like doing and what you're good at.
Yeah.
And like, frankly, I don't like doing all those domestic things. Like,
it's not going to make you happy, and you're not like a better mom or a better wife. Like, you're just not in a good
And it's
mood.
taken me a long time to figure that out too, because I think I've had a lot of guilt around not being able to like cook my kids all their meals and pack all their lunches, and like now my kids get hot lunch because I don't have time to pack lunch, but I think you just have to figure out what the hacks are for you.
Yeah, but I love that. I mean, that was such a great, honest point of view in your home life, so thank you for sharing that. Let's go to the brand. How did the brand, the name, I mean, what I do love actually is that, like any entrepreneur, you're solving an issue, right?
Yeah.
You had eczema. I guess you couldn't, I assume there's medical stuff in the market, but nothing's fun like this.
Well,
like, this makes you happy.
Totally. So eczema is like so many autoimmune issues, it is chronic, and there's no cure for it, which means like once you have it, you just sort of always have it. And it's really a matter of managing it, not of curing it so much. I mean, honestly, I even have a little bit right now on my neck. So it's one of those things that can be very frustrating, because you really don't know when you're going to get it. You don't know what makes it happen in the first place. And yet at the same time, there's nothing you can exactly do for it. And so one of the things that I was really frustrated about was, for me, it's like a way of life. And so the products that I use on a daily basis, I want all of them to be clean and safe for sensitive skin. And I felt like I was relegated to using products that were not very, not what beauty is to me. Like, to me, the idea of beauty is like you're still selling like aspiration and lifestyle, and you're selling performance. And a lot of times those are things that you have to give up on when you're getting like safe for sensitive skin, or if you're getting clean. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, the way they approach having sensitive skin is like a minute. Like, they'll take like an oatmeal bath and then they'll go back to their regular routine. For me, this is like my always on. This is my lifestyle. And so I really wanted products that were at the core clean, safe for sensitive skin, but also like high performance and fun, because that's what I think beauty is. And so I'm from LA. I've lived in LA since I was like 5 years old, and the beach has always been this, this place for me that I've loved, and I love that everybody gets to enjoy like a clean and healthy lifestyle at the beach. And we in LA, I think, live like a pretty healthy lifestyle. And so I really wanted the imagery of that to be brought into the brand. And so that's why the products, the name is called Tower 28. So Tower 28 is a real lifeguard tower at the intersection of Santa Monica and Venice. And it really is a place where I've gone to with my friends to meet them and to see each other. And I just love that everybody gets to go there. It's like beauty democratized, the same idea.
And I love that, because the packaging makes you happy. You kind of feel like you're a part of your universe. And there's a real authenticity with that, with your brand. So I love that it's really a part of you.
Well, in the packaging, this like sunset red color is actually meant to symbolize like the same color as like the lifeguard buoys. So because everything's meant to like come and rescue your skin. That was like the idea for it.
But can we talk about the spray? Because I go through bottles of this spray. I'm actually acne prone, but I just find that it just kind of smooth my skin.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I am not really acne prone, and I find that it works for so many different reasons. So even me, I have like we have probably very different skin types. So most people who have acne are also oily. Are you oily?
I mean, I'm like combination, but
sure. I'm not oily at all. I'm super dry. But at the core of it, all skin issues are kind of inflammation. And then the thing that makes inflammation worse is going to be any type of bacteria. What the spray does is it keeps your skin calm and it keeps it clean. So it's an antibacterial and an anti-inflammatory. So it basically helps calm your skin down, and then it keeps it clean, which is really the issue a lot with acne. And so even for me, for me it's eczema, for you it's acne, I've heard of it working incredibly well for anything from, I don't know, like after working out, people use it because sweat is a toxin that sits on your skin, right? After like sunburn, honestly, like tattoos, all kinds of reasons.
So this has been your hero product. How long did it take you to develop that?
So the product has an ingredient in it called hypochlorous acid. We actually ended up, I would say all of our products take at least 12, maybe 18 months to develop in general. And that's generally been true in beauty. This product, it took us about 12 months, but it took the chemist that we worked with and still work with, it took him 8 years to stabilize the ingredient.
Oh, wow.
So the problem with hypochlorous acid is similar to what you've heard about probably with vitamin C.
Yeah.
Vitamin C.
I think vitamin C oxidizes.
Yes.
This is my,
Well, it oxidizes, but there's also lots of different forms of vitamin C. So it's not all the same. So buying vitamin C from, a cheap one versus an expensive one, there are differences. And a lot of it is really in the stability of it. And stability equals the effectiveness, right? So this one, we really did work with someone who the chemist prior to us even talking to him had been working on it for 8 years to stabilize it. So hypochlorous acid has been used in medical settings in hospitals for years for wound care because again, it's anti-inflammatory and antibacterial. But not until we worked on it did it become pH balanced for facial use, stabilized, something that you could really use for your face.
I love that. That's your hero product. The second product, you get so much attention from this product. You get this high, right? Like the numbers, like people are buying them. How did you come up with the second product? Like how does a brand develop into a full range?
So my dream was always, and what I was really looking for as a person was I wear makeup, I like wearing makeup. I never really wanted to make just a skincare brand because I felt like actually there were a lot of brands out there that were skincare brands for sensitive skin. I felt like the real need gap was for complexion. I wanted to be able to like cover up my skin issues, my redness, my texture, any of that stuff. I wanted to be able to do that, but not feel like I was making my skin worse, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that feeling, especially if you've had acne? Like if you're covering up an open wound, it sometimes, it can look good right when you do it, but then you look at yourself like an hour later and it makes your skin look worse.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, that's part of the problem. And then the other part of the problem is just like, you don't want to I always felt like, am I exacerbating the problem? Like making it actually worse? Yeah. And so I really wanted complexion products. So today our Swipe Concealer is the number, in units, it's literally like the number 2 concealer at Sephora right now. It's number 3 in general. So against like obviously huge, amazing brands.
And you're here for Sephora, which is amazing. Yeah. Can we just pause because we're excited to have this in Dubai. This is a country that loves beauty.
Loves
skin.
Beauty. Yeah. And so smart, like people really know product.
People know product, people are excited to try product. How do you feel about the Middle East? I mean, you've been here before.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I find, we were doing, I did a master class with the Sephora beauty advisors, and I think this is just emblematic of what I feel like the culture is like. Yeah. But in the middle of it, they like had a DJ turn on music and everyone just started dancing. And I was like, is this normal for you guys? And they were like, kind of, yeah.
That's amazing. But I love that.
And I just feel like there's this real like zest and like joie de vivre here that is so beautiful.
So nice.
It's so beautiful, and everyone talks about how safe it is here.
It is so safe, 100%.
I mean, I wish I could say the same for LA, but not exactly. So no, I really love it, and I'm so touched that I think like as a founder, like the thing that you want more than anything is that to put something into the world and for it to resonate with other people. Yeah. Coming here and seeing like being in the Dubai Mall window, I mean like there's no bigger window
incredible
experience. I mean, I think they said they get more visitors in that store than like, or maybe that mall than I think the Eiffel Tower. It makes something crazy like that. And so to see that and then to have people like actively shopping in front of me and like they knew who we were already, it shows the power of like social media, of how global we are as a
at the end of the day, I think, and that's why I was saying is shoppers are smart.
Yeah.
So the first time you can do the gimmicky, thing, trying to get people's attention. At the end of the day, if it's not gonna perform and make you feel good, they're not gonna go back to like swipe their own card again to get it, right? So you do have a great product in the market. What was that Sephora journey like? Like, how did you do the pitch? Like, what was that process to get into the largest beauty empire?
So Sephora likes to say that it is harder to get into Sephora than it is to get into Harvard.
Yes.
Their acceptance rate
that,
is worse. So it is not something that I take lightly that they took us when they did. So I launched the brand in April of 2019. I pitched them in April of 2019 too. So I went and I met with them. I've worked with Sephora my entire career, so I knew the people in the corporate world, but that didn't mean that they were gonna take us as a brand. Luckily, they did. So honestly, when they took us, we had maybe like 50 people liking our posts. Like, it was very, very small. I did not have super strong, it wasn't like I had already sold millions of dollars or anything like that. So they took a real chance on us. But I think they loved the concept, they loved the product itself, because they did test and try it. And they pretty immediately put us in, so we launched in April, they put us in on their .com by September. We were in every single store, so 650 stores by February of the next year, of 2020.
And so what do you do when you get that call?
Yeah.
When
You
they
freak out.
You freak out, yeah. Because already I'm going back in the interview and I'm thinking, okay, it takes 12 months to produce. You have to kind of work backwards. You have to build your team to coordinate all the logistics.
So by April of 2019, when we launched, you have to buy minimums, right? So I bought inventory. So I already had the product by April of 2019 when I went to go pitch them. When I went to go pitch them, I had no idea that they were gonna take us in all stores. Most of the time when Sephora takes brands, they do a test. So they'll do like 50 stores to start with, and like, if it goes well, they'll extend you to maybe 100 or 200, and then they keep getting bigger. What they did with us is almost unprecedented, which they gave us a half shelf in every single store. And we went from a half shelf to a full shelf to 2 shelves. Now we're on 4 shelves. Next year we go into two bays, which is double. So it's like basically like 8 shelves. So it's super exciting. But like, when we went to go pitch, like, I had no idea. And actually I went to go see a friend of mine who's a mentor, and she used to work at Sephora. And I was like, okay, this is my plan. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna show them, like, you know, this is what the business need is. This is what our like unique selling proposition is. I went to business school. I'm a really linear thinker. Like, I made graphs and all of these things. And she was like, stop, stop, stop. Like, aside from like short of bringing in a lifeguard and building a pier and like putting sand on the floor, she's like, I need you to sell the story. I need you to sell the vision of what you're trying to do. And I think that's such an important lesson to remember, because anytime you're selling to somebody, you need them to be able to like turn around and advocate for you, whether it's an influencer or it's a retailer or an editor.
I always say, even the shop, like the people in the store, like, you're gonna go back to LA, and the people at Sephora are gonna be your biggest advocate.
Well, and people can't remember that many things, right? So you have to give them something to remember. And so for us, it always has been like this idea that Tower 28 is like a lifeguard tower, and we're literally there to like rescue your skin. Yeah. You know, and I think that is the big story. So we went in and we brought like popsicles, and we brought like so janky, but we actually branded our own popsicles. But we bought them from the like local place, and we printed through the printer little like popsicle wrappers, and we put them on there right before we walked in there, and then we handed them out around the office, and we played this music, and because our lip jelly, which is still one of our best-selling products, is supposed to be this like, it's really bright in the tube, kind of like Juicy Tubes were back in the day. But it was the idea that like, when you put it on, you kind of look like you just ate a popsicle. And so we gave out popsicles and whatever, and I think we tried to really like sell the story, and the vision is really important. So I say that to entrepreneurs now all the time, like, you have to sell someone, like, people always talk about things like TAM, like your total addressable market, and like that stuff is important too. But really, like, people love brands. Like, what is your product philosophy, and what are you selling?
I love that. So storytelling is absolutely so important, and every detail. Bring them into your world.
Yes.
And before we go, I want to talk about leadership style. So your business evolves, your team grows. What is your, like, if someone asks you, how do you define your leadership style?
I think I am a little bit different than other founders, because a lot of founders I know have been entrepreneurs prior to that, like whether they were experts as, hairstylist
makeup
or
artist.
makeup
Yeah, of
artist
course,
or
yeah.
whatever it is. I'm different in that my career is actually a lot more like the people who work for me than it is. I've spent a long time working, more than I have being a founder,
Which is
honestly.
great because you understand their shape.
And so I like to
Yeah.
think that I understand more intimately what it's like to be in their situation. I think I'm a servant leader. Like I really do think of myself as somebody who is trying to create, like if I take care of my employees, I think they'll take care of my customers. And I think the whole thing just trickles down. And so I really care a lot about the team, and I really care about the experience and the journey as much as I do about the product, which I also care a lot about the consumers and everything else. But I think it's kind of like being a parent, right? Like you try to role model. So I role model, I think, through like hard work, showing up, being vulnerable, being kind. I think that's something that women.
Well, I think empathy is one thing women have. It's just instilled in them.
Yeah, and I think like
a
when I
different
was
type of management and leadership.
I think when I was younger, I felt like I should try to step into this idea of leadership and be more male when I could, and be more like this idea of what I thought you were supposed to be like. But no, I think like as I've gotten older and become more comfortable in my own skin, which is, I think, a real benefit of age, right?
So this confidence, like,
yeah,
because you've had experience.
I think I've had experience, and also like I think getting older makes you more comfortable in who you are and not just trying to pretend you're good at everything, but I'm like pretty honest about the things that I am good at and what I'm not good at.
She kind of goes back to like the beginning, right?
Yeah.
It's like, just what are your strengths? Like, how do you be the best you
what's
can
your
be?
SWOT analysis?
What
I
is
like
your
that.
SWOT analysis? Yeah, the key this is like marketing.
Yeah,
skill. Oh, yeah. But this podcast and this video series is about legacy. What do you want your legacy to be when people look back, when you look back at your career?
I think about this actually a fair amount, because I'm pretty clear that the thing that matters to me the most is not so much like, I don't know, the money and that type of a thing, but like, I really think I have, they talk about like what your unfair advantage is. I've worked in the same industry for 23 years. If I can, I would really love to leave this industry better than I came into it.
Love that.
And I think that means like whether I feel like I'm raising the future leaders in my organization, I try to help other beauty founders, and particularly women of color beauty founders, because I think you have to have people who look like you in order to show images of beauty that like are reflective of the society that we live in, and it has to be diversified. And then I really care a lot about the customer a lot too. Like I really do think that uniquely we have a product that changes people's lives. I think if you can change the way a woman or a person walks through the world and like the way they feel in their own skin, I really think it changes them.
I love that. Thank you for sharing your story with me.
Oh my God, thank you
We're
for
so
having
happy to have you
me.
in Dubai.
Yeah.
The sun is out, but this is, the weather's getting good now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I feel like this must be kind of like LA, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go to a water park while we're here.
Thank you for sharing your story, and I loved meeting you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for watching and following us. It is so nice to share stories of inspiring women who are truly pivoting the way through life, and when it comes to leadership, life, parenthood, and all, getting tips how to juggle it all, and of course, how to navigate life as an entrepreneur. Thanks for watching.